Hello, guys. This is Kenneth Wong, and welcome to October 2025. I hope you're ready because this marks the acceleration towards 2026. Now, this is the chart for 2025, and this is the pillar for October 2025. Now, based on technical analysis, the dog and the tiger in the month pillar will form a three harmony combination. Now, those of you who are Parts students would know that this produces the yin fire. And the yin fire to this chart is the indirect wealth. And the dog as well as the rabbit in the day pillar will form a six harmony combination producing additional fire. Now, fire in this chart is wealth. Now, before you guys get overly excited, it might not be a great thing. Let me explain further. Now, these two combinations of wealth will also trigger underlying energies for the year, such as the six harmony combination between the tiger and the pig producing the wood element. Now, the wood element represents the output, which means eating God and hurting officer. It also further triggers the underlying energy of the three harmony combination that produces the yin wood, which is hurting officer. Now, in the beginning of the year, when we analyzed the annual chart, we realized that there are two main strong energies in the chart. Number one is the fire energy, and number two is the wood energy. Now, most of us would know that we are currently in period 9, which represents the element of fire, which means whenever we see fire energy, like now, right, the initial stages of period 9, it normally represents change or the process of change. As we all know, in 2025 is the first fire year, which is the snake year, okay, which also marks the beginning of the changing process, the changing landscape, okay, even the changing world order as we know it. In the month of October, the fire energy is being combined, is being triggered. As a result of that, the wood energy is also being triggered. Now, in the beginning of the year, fire energy represents the energy of change. Okay, it also represents a lot of aggression. That's why we've been seeing a lot of protests, a lot of fighting, right? There's always elements of, elevated temperament, okay, throughout 2025. The wood energy for the year represents the energy of opposition. That's why you've been seeing protests, rallies, right? People not happy with governments, corporations. The general public basically are not happy with the current system. Okay, so that was what we saw in the beginning of the year. Now, in the month of October, these two energies are being triggered once again. What does this mean? Now, when people see wealth, generally they are happy, right? However, it depends on your current positioning. We will be experiencing financial fluctuations. Now, financial fluctuations is a form of intervention. To some people who are more cynical, it's called manipulation, right? So there might be some artificial pumping of liquidity into the economy, trying to jumpstart it, right? You could also see some maybe share markets manipulation. We have already seen central banks lowering interest rates. So there might be a chance where those of you who are speculators, those of you who play shares, right, or those of you who are doing trading, right, you might see a knee-jerk reaction in the share market. Those of you who are entrepreneurs might see a small increase in sales if you're still selling items of value. My advice is this: if there is a knee-jerk appreciation in the share market, my advice is sell and realize some profits. Okay, because this tiny window of opportunity might not last long. Those of you who are doing business, you might want to try your best to do package deals, lower your pricing, and try to clear as much stock as possible. Because when we approach 2026, it's going to be harder and harder. Apart from those of you who are business owners, as well as those of you who are traders or investors, right? The normal Joe on the street, right, are always worried about their job positions now. The wealth over here also relates to changes in financial positions. For example, having a job, not having a job, put it bluntly, right? So what this means is that a lot of money making positions will be affected. For example, retrenchments will pick up, will accelerate. Okay. A lot of jobs, there'll be a lot of increment freezes, for example. Okay. Some of you might be forced to take a pay cut just to have a job, or some of you might hear news of forced taking of leaves, or even taking a leave of absence with no pay, for example. So yeah, you guys will start to hear a lot of information like this. So this wealth energy being triggered might not be the best kind of wealth for the average employees. Now, how about this energy of opposition? For most of 2025, we already have seen, right, a lot of unhappiness, okay, in the general public. So there will be more push for systemic change. We have already seen changes in governments in various countries, right? We have seen female leadership, right, in Japan, in Nepal, for example, right? This basically is in full alignment with Period 9, the empowerment of women. Okay, so this is not going to take a break. This, in fact, will accelerate. There'll be more demands for systemic changes. As a result of this pressure, there will be a push against current authority. Now, this could be against the government. This could be against the current financial system. This could be against the corporation, especially those of you, or I would say people who recently got retrenched. They are definitely not going to take it sitting down, because whatever you're seeing now, it is the appetizer of what to expect in 2026. Okay, whatever I've said so far, this is the start of the acceleration towards 2026. And 2026 is the year of the Crimson Horse. Now, those of you who like what I'm sharing, please subscribe, like, share. And those of you who really like more content of such nature, please join my Telegram group. And let's look a bit deeper based on the auxiliary stars of the dog. Now, in the year of 2025, the dog has the Imperial Advisor. So this talks about new leadership. So this is happening in not the whole world, but slowly making its mark across different regions, across different countries. Now, those new leadership will have new policies and new directions, and it will receive general acceptance for now. Okay, for now. That means the general public will look at this new leader and will be willing to give it a chance. Okay, to give her a chance, most likely. All right. You will also experience the pulling saddle, which normally indicates this is like the pivoting moment. Now, the month of October, or the month of the fire dog, represents an energy of peaking. That means everything has already peaked before it changes direction. So this represents a pivotal moment, a pivotal month. Okay. It also talks about a lot of opposition, voices of opposition, actions of opposition, such as general public in terms of protests. It could also be, opposition between countries, for example. Okay, and there will be a lot of obstacles to overcome, or there'll be a lot of things, a lot of obstacles to face. Lesser consumer normally talks about spending more money, but in terms of the greater environment, we could expect, a higher cost and inflation. That's the reason why we're spending more money. Okay. And cascading cloud Shah normally talks a bit about finger pointing and betrayal. All right. So this is when, even between governments, right, there will be a lot of what we will say, changes in alliances. Okay. So some of the new alliances will be for survival. Some of the new alliances will be out of frustration. Okay. Out of frustration. Some new alliances will be for monetary gains. And of course, the karmic lesson here for everybody, from governments to the average person like you and me, okay? Whatever happens this month, please remember this month is the law of responsibility. What does that mean, right? Basically, you need to be responsible for your own control over your own emotions. Okay, any impulsive decisions and actions will have its own consequences, and all those consequences will drag you backwards instead of helping you move forward. All right, guys. Now, this one also tells me, this lesson also tells me that this month will be very emotionally challenging for a lot of people. I mean, hey, let's be realistic. If you lose your job and you have to feed your family, it is an emotion that, is hard to control. I understand, I get you, but do your best and don't be impulsive. Now, there are quite a number of animal signs being affected in October 2025. All right. There are nine. Of course, we have the dog, the dragon, goat, ox, rooster. Okay. The top layer normally talks about people who might have to go through a tougher time. Okay. The four animals, rabbit, rat, and tiger, and horse at the bottom layer will be opportunistic, but a lot of effort is needed as well. Now I'm not gonna go through one by one. I'm gonna group these animal signs because the experiences are pretty similar. Now, those of you with the dog or dragon anywhere in your charts, especially within your natal chart, year pillar, month pillar, day pillar, and hour pillar, inclusive of your 10-year luck cycle, hear me out, right? If you have the dog and dragon in the month of October 2025, challenges are coming your way. Okay. Now, if you hit the limelight, you are going to suffer. You really need to step up. You need to show your leadership qualities. You have to do more. Okay. It is an opportunity to pivot. Remember, this month is a pivotal moment. So this is your opportunity to pivot into a new position, or, to access into or try out your luck in a new area, in a new realm, into a new playing field. Okay. Yes, it will be unfamiliar. Yes, it will be new. Yes, it will be scary, but things appear for a reason. All right. So if you do not like your current position, this might be your way out. So think about it more before pushing this opportunity or this new window away. And finally, watch your health. All right. Remember, you are not useful when you're sick. Okay. Recover first. All right. Take a step back, breathe. Okay. Recover before pushing forward. Okay, because if you're sick, there's no point pushing forward. You're not going to be productive. In fact, you're going to make more and more mistakes. If you have the goat, ox, rooster anywhere in your path chart, these are times of confusion, feeling lost, as well as having rising resentment. Okay, now remember, guys, okay, do not trust everything that happens to you on the surface. Things happen for a reason, no matter how unhappy, no matter how painful, no matter how desperate, no matter how fearful it may be. Okay, things happen for a reason, and most of the time, it's for a good change. Now, I do understand, we all do understand in the community of Joey Up that changes can be very uncomfortable, even painful. Okay, but keep exploring new grounds for new opportunities, no matter how much you hate the situation that you're in right now. And some of you with the goat, ox, or rooster in your charts, you might be excessively busy. All right, you might be excessively busy. You're trying to balance two to three, maybe even 10 job scopes at the same time. Remember, right? You can complain. Please don't resent. Do not quit. Because the only reason why you're so busy is because you are still valuable in the eyes of your employer instead of being considered to be retrenched or let go. Now, for those of you with the rabbit, rat, tiger, and horse, okay, opportunities are new doors opening for you. Even though most of the time it's not to your liking, it's not to your comfort level, it might even be fearful for you. But it doesn't mean it's bad. Before you push opportunities away, please give it a second thought, give it a chance, explore a little. Just in case, if bad things happen this month, that means in October 2025 specifically, it's actually good. And finally, those of you with the rabbit, rat, tiger, and horse, if you haven't pivoted, right, in any aspect of your life in 2025, this is the month to do it. At the beginning of the year, we have already announced, or I have already announced, that we only have one job in 2025, and that is to pivot and get ready for 2026. Now, if you enjoy my video, please subscribe, like, share, and join my Telegram group. My name is Kenneth Wong, and I'll see you next month. Take care, guys.